What's up everyone? I've just recently been playing Borderlands 3, as we know it just released this week on September 13th. Now this is the first Borderlands game in 7 years, and it's available for the Xbox, PlayStation 4, and PC. Now the big question is, was this game worth all the wait, and was it worth the hype? I put in about 25 to 30 hours into the game already, so I think I can give an honest review on what I think I liked about the game and what I disliked so far. So here are some of my thoughts. Let's get to it. One thing you notice about playing any Borderlands game is the way it looks. It has that comic book feeling to it. And this is something that always resonated with me and kind of attracted me to the game series in general. Just the way it looked, the way I always thought it was like a comic book adventure, which sometimes games can be, and this one pulls it off exactly great. Now, the comparison to Borderlands 2 as far as the characters looking like Claptrap or Firehawk is vastly improved here. Of course, it could be due more to the new technology and consoles, but the way it's enhanced makes it even better to play. I do love the visuals of each character. I love the visuals of the places that you land on. I love even the guns. The ability to even inspect the guns is even awesome. So the visuals automatically are like my number one like right now, and it's something that really draws me into the game and keeps me involved in the game. Borderlands is known for its crazy characters and outlandish characters, and this game is not disappointing in any way. You can again choose between 4 different Vault Hunters. The first being FL4K, or Fleck like I call him, who's a Beastmaster and has different animals that help him throughout his skill tree. You also have a gunner named Mose, who has a mech and kind of reminds you of the girl from Overwatch. She has different skill trees as well for her mech and other powerful things. Next you have Amara, who's a siren similar to Maya in the previous one. She has powers that can be used, so it's kind of for the witches or wizards kind of thing aspect to it, which is pretty cool. And then you have the last character, Zane, which is the person I played mostly on, who's an operative. He has a drone he uses for his skill tree, as well as a duplicating system where he has a hologram that uses his powers. Now this is a great aspect of the game, I think, because not only do you get to play as one character, you get to play as the other 3 and see how the same story progresses, but you have to build up the 3 skill trees to make sure the game has that kind of a replayability with it. So having 3 other characters on top of yours is a good thing, and like I said, I'm probably going to go through the game 2 more times with the other 2 characters and see how it goes. Because it's really interesting to see what everybody has and every power everybody has, and see how your gameplay is. Now there are guides to get the gameplay correctly, but I like to figure it out myself. Another cool aspect of the Borderlands games is that you get to actually see other characters that were previously in the Borderlands franchise. You already know that Claptrap and Lilith are in the game, as I stated previously in the video, but they're also returning as Ellie and fan favorites Zero and Maya, as well as Tiny Tina. Another cool aspect is new characters such as Tyreen and Troy, who are the main protagonists of the story, as well as Reese, who kind of reminds you a little bit of Handsome Jack, who's an ally actually in this story. And you have probably the best character in the game, which is Balex. Now Balex is a AI or navigator of a certain ship of a mission you have to go through, and he's actually voiced by Ice-T, and he has probably the funniest dialogue in the game so far. His interactions with the main protagonist in that mission, Genevieve, which is really funny, and his voice acting and his zingers are really funny to go through the game. So I really enjoyed that mission, and I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy his voice acting. I think Ice-T actually does a pretty good job whenever he voice acts. He did the other voice acting in Gears of War 3, I believe, which is actually a pretty good game, and his voice acting there was spot on as well, so he doesn't disappoint in this film. One of the things I really enjoyed about the game as well was the soundtrack. Now, the beginning of the game actually has a great intro, and that intro is actually composed and sang by The Heavy, which is actually one of my favorite bands, a band from England, probably known for How You Like Me Now, which is probably their popular hit. So that's pretty cool, and they add a couple songs within the game. Another cool thing is the in-game soundtrack. Just listen to this. As you can see, the game and music is great. I love the composing. I also love the live stuff by The Heavy. Also, if you go around the game and actually you can see different types of radios playing, and you can actually cycle through different channels by pressing Y on the Xbox. This will take you to different songs, different alternative songs, classical, you name it. And it's actually cool to listen to, and it adds a little vibe to the game. I really think the dark tones or alternative songs to this game add greatly and mesh very well with the gameplay, which is kind of cool. Another thing I really enjoyed about this game was the story. I really liked the dialogue between the main antagonists, Tyreen and Troy, as a brother and sister against the Vault Hunter, and they interact in certain ways with certain characters you play, and your character will respond in certain ways as well. Well, the main story is actually the same as the previous. You're trying to stop somebody from getting to the vaults, and in this case it's Troy and Tyreen, and they actually can take the powers from the monsters of the vaults, and they actually can take powers from other sirens, as they are sirens themselves. As you'll learn, Lilith loses her powers. So I don't want to get into much more of the story from there, but the progressing of it is really good. I really enjoyed the dialogue between the characters, as I said, and I also enjoyed the side missions that are given out to each player. And each player can actually do these side missions on top of the main missions, and they're not very boring. They're not too repetitive at all. It can come from delivering burgers, which is actually a pretty funny mission, to killing somebody, to finding something on the map, whatever. There's so much things within this world that it's going to go long beyond the 30 hours that you're going to do it. I know I'm going to keep playing on my character, and some of the time I do is I spend around playing just on my side missions. This is fun I can do just to get those extra guns, those extra power-ups, etc. And when it comes to guns, I was reading that the Gearbox actually said there's over 1 billion different types of guns in this game, which is ridiculous. So happy hunting for that. One of the things that really frustrated me, I see online, it actually frustrated other people, was the map. Now the map is 3-dimensional, so you can see 3 different tiers, whether you're high or low. And sometimes the target that you're going to is kind of hard to find out. Also, the controls in the map. Now the map runs off a orbital system where you have to hit Y on the Xbox controller to get out. But if you know anybody that hits a B button, usually to back out, they actually get out of the map and have to go right back into it, and some do the same thing, which is kind of frustrating as you're getting used to the controls of the map. Also, it's really hard to read, and you have to follow it via going high or low or areas of the map. Now, I do like the fact that the scenery or the gameplay environment is actually multi-tiered, but it's kind of hard with the map to read if you're new to the Borderlands system. And I was actually a veteran. I actually played Borderlands a lot, and it was just kind of weird for me to read this map in this way. So that's something I was having trouble with. Another thing is the driving. Usually on the Xbox controller, you hit the right and left triggers to go accelerate and brake or reverse. This is different. You have to use the top joystick to go up, which is forward, back to go backwards, and you use the right joystick to rotate or turn, which is kind of weird and takes a lot to get used to. You can also get stuck with a bunch of bugs. As you see here, I was stuck. You have to blow up your car or whatever if you're doing a mission, and it's kind of frustrating. There are also certain bugs in the game, as well as some controlling with jumping, which is kind of hard. Sometimes the auto grab is not auto grab, so it can become frustrating sometimes. So it's something to get used to. However, it does not take away from the overall gameplay. It's just annoyance. So that's one of the 2 biggest things I could find that were wrong with the game, in my opinion, that kind of like irritated me a little bit. But it's something that we can get past as a player, and the story and the music, the gameplay, as far as everything else, just takes over and is worth playing, in my opinion. So I wanted to give my final thoughts on this. Was it worth the wait? In my opinion, it was. I mean, it took 7 years for us to get this new game, plus there's going to be new DLC that's coming out. There are some downfalls to the game, and I explained them earlier, which was the map and the driving, as well as the controls of the bugs. Now that's something not horrible, but it's something we can get around. And the story, gameplay, as far as the shooting, the discovery of environments, the discovery of different guns, armor, the skill sets within 4 characters is awesome. 3 different skill sets of each character. There's something to mix and match. The also finding of old and new characters within the game. Their dialogue is hilarious. The cutscenes are great. The visuals are great if you like the comic book style. So it's something worth investing into. Now, if you do decide to invest and buy the game, I would recommend following Borderlands 3 on Twitter, or Shift Codes on Twitter as well, as they give out golden keys. Now, The golden keys can be used on Sanctuary, the spaceship you get later in the game that you do most of your traveling from. And this golden chest can actually help you get faster upgrades with a golden key. These codes are put out, I think, every 6 hours or every day, and they only last for 3 hours. So you have to go to the Borderlands 3 website and register and put these codes in. You'll get a mail in the game in the social aspect to get golden keys to use. So I recommend following those sites to get your golden keys, or you can just do it the hard way and just find everything yourself. It's up to you, but just a little way to help with the player advancing the game. But anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching and have a great rest of your day.